back to the Good Friday action here. There's the second match of this exciting doubleheader in the Regional Police Cricket Tournament. And now it's the turn of Antigua and Barbuda. They're taking on Grenada. We certainly expect another cracker-jacker of a match. In terms of the toss details, Grenada, they won the toss, and they opted to field first, which simply means that Antigua will be having first knock here. My name is Joel Manning, and alongside me, once again to take you through the opening exchanges of this action, is Wayne Holder.
Yes, Joel, and this game is important from the point of view that having won the earlier match here against the BVI Trinidad and Tobago, now officially in second position in the standings on 16 points, well, equal with the St. Vincent and the Grenadines side, who are currently expected to be taking on the Cayman Islands in their final preliminary match, that game being played in St. Philip at the Barbados National Oil Company. So the Grenadians looking to win this one and top the Trinidadians in the standings.
Yeah, well, getting things started for Antigua and Barbuda is Teron Payne and Malik Marcelin. And opening the bowling for Grenada, it's Josh Thomas. The first runs off the bat. Pulled back just inside, but fantastic running from them. Produces 3 runs to get them going.
Well, yes, it's going to take a lot. It takes very, very good running to get 3 on this ground. Not the biggest, widest expanse for an outfield. And I thought that was excellent stuff from the Antigua and Barbuda pair of opening batters to manage to come back for a 3rd run there.
Absolutely fantastic, a gem of a delivery, and it produces the first wicket of this match.
Brilliant stuff. Back of a length, on top of that, just outside that off stump, the batsman probing and then looking to pull the bat inside the line, but too late it was for him. That one pitching down and if not necessarily moving away from the bat, holding its own, just straightening on pitching and through to the keeper. Easy catch taken, and the Grenadians strike very, very early. Brilliant work by Josh Thomas.
Absolutely fantastic work by Thomas to get things started from them. It's in fact back-to-back ducks for Marcelin. He went for a first ball duck versus Barbados and a first ball duck here today versus Grenada.
So double golden duck, call it. But this is brilliant work from Thomas. He's one of the impressive bowlers coming out of this Grenada side. That delivery, we were in to see if he would have had a chance to see it again. But delivery pitching down just around that off stump, and the batsman forced to play at it, slightly getting the bat away from the body. He didn't make an attempt, a late attempt to pull the bat back inside the line, but by that time the wicketkeeper was celebrating the catch behind.
The new batter for Antigua and Barbuda, it's Siobhan Moore. Moore given a bit of a promotion today. He batted down the order in the match before this. He batted at number 6 today, coming at 3, and a different task on his hand, the fall of an early wicket for them.
And looking a fast bowler is this Thomas. You know, if you walked into a cricket ground and saw Thomas in cricket clothes, you would immediately think to yourself, well, this is the fast bowler. He has all the looks, all the attributes: tall, broad-shouldered, long limbs, muscular fella.
Well, timed into the offside. But once again, just pulled back inside the boundary.
Just using the pace of the bowler that time. Just leaning on it.
Thomas bowled 3 on trot in their previous encounter versus BVI. He's really worked up some good pace across this tournament, and more often than not, he's gotten Grenada off to fantastic starts.
But yes, and the Grenadian pace attack, like St. Vincent and the Grenadines, are really outstanding among all the teams that we have seen.
Good grab down the leg side. And they come through for a single. Just losing the line there, Thomas.
Joel, would it be safe to say that some of the, slightly, some of the pace have gone out of this surface? We've seen it. Still a good cricket surface, mind you, but not showing the kind of pace and bounce and carry that we would have seen in the earlier stages. But of course, as you said, this is about the 7th game being played on this service, all back to back. So it's just slightly beginning to tire, I dare say.
The end of, in fact, one more delivery, yes, a wide. Yeah, he didn't factor in that additional one.
Well, and there's also the claim that playing back-to-back matches on even the bowlers themselves would begin to show some of the rear, the effects.
I think the turf technician here would allow you to know that it's probably more so the bowler's tiring than his surface out there.
It's a matter. I wouldn't argue. I wouldn't argue.
Whipped away nicely. And that will be the first boundary to close out over number 1. The end of 1, it's 13 for 1.
Well, yes, and getting a bit too straight there. And this guy, Payne, seems to be very proficient at the deliveries on his pad. Remember, he got off with 3 runs off the very first delivery. And this time, Joseph again on the pads and whipping it away for a boundary. So 13 in the first over. The Antiguans would enjoy that start despite losing a wicket.
Payne has done quite a good job for Antigua and Barbuda. He got 39 in their last match. It wasn't a winning outing for them, but it was certainly a good start for him.
It's interesting to see who the Grenadians bring from the southern end. We've seen a couple of teams work the option. I think it was the Vincentians who worked out a method where they allow the faster bowlers to bowl from the free end at the north, and at that incline at the south, they operated with their spinners even with the new ball.
Well, I can tell you that is going to be a seamer in the form of Amikel Dubisset coming from that road end. And he's actually bowled quite well from down there in partnership with Josh Thomas. I do believe he picked up 2 wickets in the first spell that he bowled from that end in the previous match that they played here. So he would have fond memories of bowling from there.
Not the same kind of pace on offer from Dubisset as you would have seen from a Thomas. But good control would have been his main asset.
Yeah, certainly that's what Dubisset brings to the party, that measure of control. Certainly not up there in terms of pace, but he's been good in terms of the length and length that he's bowled, and not just that, but consistent. And I guess that is why he's been successful across this tournament.
He's got the left-hander to contend with now.
not making that adjustment. Probably. It's always an interesting task for bowlers to have to very quickly make the assessment and adjustment as it relates to the left-hand, right-hand combination at the crease.
Right, yeah, it's always a tricky bit for bowlers.
A few more spectators have trickled in to take in the afternoon action on this Good Friday.
As anticipated. Driving. To be set, offering a much fuller length, but outside the off stump, and Payne throwing everything at it and missing.
Maybe living a little dangerously there. Yes, there's a man that slipped, but I dare say with the mid-off up, looking at possible trouble with that one.
Very strong on the onside is this guy, Payne, and putting that one away. That is Tron Payne, it is, but very, very strong on the onside. And every time that the bowlers are straight onto his leg stump, he's made them pay. We did see that delivery outside the off stump, which he swung at and missed, but this time to be set again, coming straight and exploiting that area behind the infield on the onside. Quite noticeably, the teams, you see, teams learn as things go on. We see the Grenadians immediately starting with the man at deep mid-wicket with the left-hander batting from this northern end where we're hitting to that good hitting end. But that one was wide of him, or he wasn't a factor in that last shot. Then he comes back on the off stump and he struggles.
Yeah, Payne has certainly been strong throughout the leg side, and it really showed, especially in the last innings that he played here, because he got off to the flyer and then teams made that adjustment and then he started to slow down, because I mentioned the fact that he got some runs in the last match. When I look at the amount of balls that he faced to get, I believe I mentioned it was 30, and I believe it was off of 43 deliveries. He really slowed down as the innings went on. And I think it's really a case of teams very quickly assessing and working out his strong areas. And I think that today is certainly a prime opportunity for him to showcase that he could probably also go through the offside and not necessarily always go for the power as well, because in terms of the outfield, we've seen that the ball has run away nicely. So if you can just get that timing, allow the ball to come onto the bat, there are runs here for you as well. One delivery left in the second over.
There's always the option of using the pace of the bowlers.
The thought of an appeal very quickly goes away. At the end of two, it's 20 for 1.
Got a mixed over there from Dubisset, and an over which cost him some 7 runs, but I think by now he would have worked out each of these individual batsmen where he needs to keep them quiet, to keep them under check. And 20 for 1, still a very good start though for the Antigua and Barbuda side. No chance of making it through to the semi-finals, Antigua and Barbuda, but they would want to finish the tournament on a high. And the rivalry is still very much there among these teams, so I don't think that there will be much chance of either side easing up.
And that is certainly wayward and runs away into the boundary. Not what Thomas or Grenada want here at the start of this innings.
Losing control of that delivery. It'll be interesting to see what transpired as he landed. But that one really got away wide. I mean, actually, the man at first slip, it was closer to the slip than it was to the... As a matter of fact, it went away to the left of the first slip fielder, who is not exactly fine. So that one, one wonders if it actually pitched on the playing surface, could possibly have been called a no ball.
Living dangerously. And, well, that one also makes its way into the boundary.
Well, dangerous but lucky. Say fortune favors the brave, and that time having a swing at a delivery on the off stump was Payne, and not in control at all. The ball taking the edge, the third man is wideish, and that ball going quickly and a fine for a boundary. But again, showing some weakness there on anything outside that off stump Payne. Worked to his advantage this time, picking up a boundary.
Fortune favor him, the luck in his favor. Will it be a good Friday for Payne?
Just the one slip in place, so quite defensively set field, as could be understood. Playing this T20 format inside the power play. Third man and a long leg, the two fielders placed at boundary's edge.
Bottom hand coming into play once again from Payne.
Into the onside. So rattling along at a good rate. A very decent rate, Antigua and Barbuda.
Minus that wicket, and it's certainly a start that they could be happy with. Thinking about the starts that Antigua and Barbuda were able to get in this tournament. I mentioned the fact that Payne got them off to a flyer in the previous encounter. Looking at the power play score for them, it was 50 for 3 in their last game. Certainly well on their ways to maybe getting that plus more today. A chance maybe falls just short, agonizingly short of mid-off.
Word coming out of the BNOC in Woodburn, St. Vincent and the Grenadines winning the toss and electing to bat against Cayman. 18 for no loss in the fourth over. So we try to monitor the proceedings there, because very much positions 1 and 2 up for grabs in these last 2 matches of the preliminaries.
Closer to that off stump now is Thomas.
Thomas struggling somewhat. I suspect the breeze coming across the ground was might be a factor in his control or lack of control with a few of his deliveries. May also be looking to bowl a bit too quickly, losing his shape, falling away at the delivery, at his delivery stride. We take a close look at him on this time.
And success for Thomas, success for Grenada.
Goes chasing, and once again, I mean, we detected this from the very first over, Joel, that this guy Payne very strong on the leg side, and he's shown some weakness on that off stump. Getting a delivery wide-ish, looking for the big shot, chasing after the delivery, good catch taken in the slip, and Thomas reaped some success, a kind of mixed bag from him, but on that occasion, getting it right. Here he is, starting outside the off stump, looking for the big drive, and the ball, well, a fairly straightforward catch, juggled a bit by the man in the slip area, but importantly, he kept his eyes on it all the way, kept it under control, and Payne, who could be a dangerous character, comes back to the pavilion, 32 for 2.
Yeah, never looked comfortable outside that off stump, did Payne. He goes for 17, 32 for 2. Just one delivery now left in over number 3. So striding out to the crease, Damon Valentine.
Thomas gone for all of 25 in those, one short of 2 overs, but has managed to pick up the 2 wickets.
They will certainly like the wicket of Payne, as we mentioned. He can be very destructive. And now a chance to maybe just peg things back a little bit, apply a bit more pressure to Antigua. That certainly will run away. The outfield has been fast here, so a boundary to get Valentine off the mark at the end of 3, 36 for 2.
Well, it's all or nothing from Thomas in those 2 overs we've seen from him so far, whether it be a couple of very good deliveries, picking up the 2 wickets, but he's also offered a lot to the batters, and this is a left-hander with a difference, pitching upon that off stump and stroke nicely into the cover area.
This is certainly where I think that Payne maybe missed the trick, and I mentioned it in terms of not necessarily always having to go for the power. We've seen how the outfield has run away here at the ground. It's really just about getting that timing, you know, and you saw it there on display from Valentine, just getting behind it, opening the face nicely, picking the gap, and collecting 4 nice-looking runs for it. Hitting high up on the bat is Dubisset. Doesn't necessarily have the pace of Thomas, but still gets up there, hits the bat hard, maybe just slides on a little quicker than you might expect.
Hard-working bowler. It's hard work getting up that slope alone, then to have to deliver.
Those extras for Grenada piling on. We're just into over number 4, and already 12 extras have been bowled in this inning. So from that perspective, not what they would have been hoping for.
Looking for that full-length delivery, looking for that Yorker-length delivery, I suspect, to be set. And getting his lines all wrong.
Well, he's given that the good treatment and collects 4 for it.
Missing that Yorker again, and made to pay by Moore. Going with the tide more or less, the ball angling into the toes and helping himself over the mid-wicket fielder. So just a matter of getting his length organized to be set.
They've bowled some good deliveries, but in every over, there's been at least 2 bad balls which the batters have capitalized on. Feeling for it, gets the edge, and the umpire says, you have got to go.
Well, we talk about getting length, Joel, getting length right. He was too full on the 2 previous occasions. This time he got it just right, just back of a length, on top of that stump, and the batsman flirting away with it, playing away from the body. And even from here, I could hear the nick, even with the headphones on, we would have heard that nick, and a simple catch. Oh, that's what they're playing away from the body, no movement of the feet whatsoever, and technically getting everything wrong. Good delivery though down on that stump, and getting leg side of the ball, playing away from the body and getting the nick. Not recommended for the schoolboy to watch if you want to be the technical player, getting that right foot across on top of the stump, getting behind the line of the delivery.
Dubisset now puts 1 in the wicket column for himself. Moore has got to go. He just went for 8. It's 41 for 3.
I remember some time back having a conversation with a guy, Luther King, out of the Holdersville area, a prolific scorer, older guy, and he once told me that, you know, that batsmen have eyes in the back of their heads. And I couldn't understand what he was trying to say, but he told me that your right foot is your eyes in the back of your head, because once you know where your right foot is, you know where your wickets are, and you know when to play and when not to play. That was his theory.
For a second, I nearly thought you might have said Luther Vandross. But straight into the crease now, Derek Murillan. A spot of problems, a bit of bother for Antigua and Barbuda. Yes, the runs have been coming, but the wickets have also been going. And once again, adding to that extras column, you wonder. Into over number 4, 20 overs to be bowled in this innings. If we're already here at this stage with 13 extras bowled, a total of maybe 160 on the board, 170. You look at it with 20 extras, you subtract it, and you tell yourself you've not done the job.
Not only 13 extras, 13 wides, which means that a number of the deliveries will have to be bowled over.
Off the mark now is Murillan. A few more families making their way to take in this Good Friday action.
Yes, good afternoon recreation for a number of persons.
A nice little picnic ground. This is a few trees around the space. You could maybe spread out a quilt and take in this lovely action. It's nice to see that even though the home team Barbados is not playing, people have still come out to watch. And I must say that across this tournament, they've been treated to a real spectacle. Some more spectators there under what looks to be a bit of a makeshift shed, a bit of a truck.
Improvised shed at the far end of the ground. Actually, that is a vendor station on that side of the ground. People taking advantage, being the Good Friday, being the bank holiday.
Well, 4 overs have been bowled. It's 43 for 3.
And going around at a good clip, though, the Antigua and Barbuda teams, they're scoring quickly and they're losing wickets quickly. But that is the nature of T20 cricket, I guess. The action happens fast, and the best teams are the teams who play what they call fearless cricket. So, but this venue has been a popular venue. I think that this tournament coming to this venue, though, has been something of a revelation to a number of people across Barbados. I myself have been here a few times, and I knew of the ambiance here, but I think this tournament has been a wonderful advertisement for the Layers ground.
It certainly has been home to a lot of fine action over the last couple days. Well, Josh Thomas, he's been removed from the attack. It's going to be Laurie Williams now. Left arm over the wicket is Williams. Greeted with a lofted shot. Won't have what it takes to get to the boundary, but 2 runs for them.
Another one of the pace on offer for the Antigua and Barbuda side. One would expect to see a lot more use of this facility here at Layers. I think the word might have gone out to the Barbados Cricket Association of the possibilities here.
They're still looking for that power. Yes, we're in the power play. Only 2 fielders out, but certainly rotation of the strike, even in these early overs, comes into play.
First look at this left arm for me, the left arm of Laurie Williams. I think I've heard that name, Laurie Williams, before in a much earlier vintage.
The man at mid-off back on the circle, so an easy run for them. But once again, you see in terms of how they're going after the ball, just looking for the power at the moment.
So far, he's operated a very full length, Williams, to the left, to the right-hander. Now he's got the left-handed Valentine to deal with. He's going to send the third man back on the boundary, white third man, and the long off on the boundary. 3 men inside the circle are saving one on the offside. Short fine leg, backward square, mid-wicket and mid-on. Again, he's full, tickled away. Has been the main feature of his bowling so far, that full length, full and straight.
He certainly wouldn't want to drop it short, I guarantee you that, because Marillion will be looking for it and will probably latch onto it.
Lovely
Work for the
shot.
man at long on to do, and an unfavorable bounce means that it goes into the boundary. He did the hard work there, got around, but the outfield not favoring him on that occasion. It's 4 more, and that takes the score up now to 51 for 3. So the 50 up for Antigua and Barbuda.
50 of 37 deliveries and 6 fours, but a lovely shot. That ball was beautifully timed, Joel. Sweet. It sounded sweet coming off the bat. You see it on drive. Some say it's the most difficult shot to play in the game, but when it comes off, it certainly looks good. And that one came off. Unfortunate for the fielder at long on, but that shot deserved 4.
Fantastic cricket. Excellent cricket to close out over number 5. It's 52 for 3.
Not a bad start for the bowler there, Williams. Did concede that boundary, but generally full, straight, keeping the batsman playing exactly where he wanted them to play. He wanted them to play the ball up the ground, and generally that is what he succeeded in doing.
Yeah, it was certainly a good first over from him. A little unfortunate in terms of the bounce that the man at long on got, because that's exactly what he was looking to bowl, and it technically should have only been 1. You can't really be too hard on the fielder for that one. 9 runs coming from that over. The first signs of spin now being introduced by Grenada.
Well, bowling a spin in the power play, always interesting. So the 1 over left in the power play and the spin being introduced.
It's going to be Daryl Cyrus into the attack. Cyrus hasn't in fact been used relatively often, I would say, across this tournament in the final over of the power play. I do remember he was also used in the super over versus Barbados and kept Barbados at 7 for 1 in that. Usually starts quite quick and flat, does Cyrus. We'll see how he goes. And in expected fashion, there he is.
I just remember, I did see Cyrus bowling the quick leg spin of Cyrus. Andrew Mason may know what I'm talking about when I say Bhagwat Chandrasekhar, the former Indian leg spinner, man with the withered arm, they call him, very quick through the air. Anil Kumble was of that similar type.
Drops it short and might pay the price for it. In fact, he does. That one's going to trickle away.
Yeah, straying down the leg side there and just helped around.
In fact, signal wide.
That's okay then.
By
Not
the
taken
umpire.
by the keeper.
So adding to that extras column.
More wides.
Looking at the total right now, extras in fact are the top scorer of the innings at the moment. So Antigua and Barbuda being helped along and helped along quite generously by the bowling of Grenada at the moment. It'll be interesting the adjustment he has to make for the left-hander with the wind blowing towards that leg side. The man goes back to deep mid-wicket.
The matchup definitely favoring the left-hander.
Yeah, the fielder out at long on. just going across with the angle.
Getting it right that end, keeping it outside off.
You certainly wouldn't want to give it too much room though outside that offset, but especially with the pace that he's bowling at, because simply opening the face of the bat also presents an opportunity to allow the ball to run off here. But it's been a relatively good over so far from him. One delivery left in it. A chance, but home safely at the end. So the end of the power play after 6, it is 60 for 3.
Well done to Antigua and Barbuda, although we did get a good over there from the leg spinner Cyrus. But excellent work at that final delivery. Good cricket on the part of both players, just dropping that ball into the outside, and good communication coming through for the sharp single immediately. 60 for 3. I think the Antigua and Barbuda would have asked for much more than that.
I certainly would be relatively happy with that start. Not necessarily the wickets column, but in terms of the runs, I mentioned the fact that in the previous game they got up to 50 for 3, so 60 for 3. It represents a better start in inverted commas for them. Still a little bit of worry as it relates to losing those early wickets, but there's a chance for them now into these, almost into what you would consider those middle overs, the overs at which you attempt to set yourself up. Of course, the power play has ended, so it means that 5 fielders can be outside of the circle, so the boundaries might not come as quickly. So it now comes into a bit of situational awareness, you know, looking at, okay, how do I now continue to score my runs, keep the scoreboard ticking over, capitalizing on the bad balls.
Keeping those wickets intact, importantly.
Talking about ticking over, working it nicely into the offside.
Murilon has played some clever cricket, I think. He's very adept at taking the weight off his shots, manipulating the ball into the gaps on both sides of the wicket.
A chance for a catch, but instead it races to the boundary. Oh, that would have been a beautiful grab if it had stuck in.
It would have been, but again, excellent timing from Murilon, coming onto the front foot and flicking this one through a much wider mid-wicket this time, but seems very adept at that on drive, seems to favor that shot. And he hit that one well. The fielder did have a chance, but I think that ball traveling much too quickly. Yeah, as you said, it would have been something miraculous had he been able to bring that off.
Goes wider of the off stump, but indeed, had he pulled off that grab and belatedly signaled a wide by the umpire, those outstretched arms. But yeah, had he really grabbed that, it would have been a celebration for Grenada.
Once again, having gone too straight the previous delivery, the bowler looking to push it away outside the off stump, getting his radar wrong.
Speaking of radar, well, it's off again. Off to the races, and that one will be another boundary. Signaled leg byes by the umpire.
Well, yes, again, a bit too straight once again. So mixed bag once he was too straight, got on driven, wide of the off stump, too wide. Now he's come back straight again and conceded 4 more runs by the leg by route, I must say.
You might almost want to call it a bit of a lucky dip over. Not too certain what you'll pull out the bag. Just one delivery now left in it, 12 runs so far.
I'm liking this guy Murilon, Joel. Again, manipulating the ball well, finding the open spaces whenever possible, and every time the bowler strays on that leg, he puts it away for 4.
A misfield. And he's not going to want to look back at that. So 16 runs come from the over. It's 76 for 3.
Well, hard luck to the bowler. They think getting it all wrong, getting his feet all tangled up there at third man, that fielder. The ball coming to him quickly, I think, but at one point he seemed to have overrun the ball. In fact, yes, outside the yard stump. And comes into the picture now, coming around and actually overrunning the ball and not getting down, getting anything behind it. And the 4 runs of Williams. A bit unlucky there on his part. 76 for 3. The Antiguans continue to motor on at this very, very healthy rate. Now a rate of 10.86 runs per over.
Yeah, it certainly is wonderful for them at the moment, and I keep looking back at what they've been doing in this tournament, because in looking at how things went for them, they were 50 for 3 after 6 versus Barbados, went on to be 75 for 3 after 10, now 76 for 3 after 7. So you would have to say that they've been gradually improving as the innings has gone on in terms of what they've done in the past.
Change of bowler.
Reynolds Charles being introduced into the attack, and at one stage I thought it would have been signaled wide by the umpire instead, probably just saying it was just inside of that white line. Seems to offer a different proposition than that of Darryl Cyrus, who was relatively flatter through the air. Charles offering to give it just a bit of loop, as they would say.
So the left-arm orthodox bowling to the left-handed batsman from that southern end. Always something to look out for there.
Yeah, the matchup certainly favoring the left-handed Valentine at the moment, but standing tall and ready for the task appears to be Reynolds Charles. And he's given him. So Charles strikes, and that's wicket number 4 down.
Well, Charles has got his man bowling over the wicket, delivery pitching down just outside the off stump, skidding straight through, and the left-handed Valentine coming onto the front foot, probably looking to run it over his square on the offside and opening the face of the bat, not offering the full face of the bat. Gets a slight nick, and the keeper standing up took a smart catch. And the action in this Antigua and Barbuda innings are fast and furious. Wickets falling, runs are scoring, 77 for 4.
Yeah, we talked about the matchup there favoring Valentine, but Charles, he had something different to say there, pushing that one through across him, taking the outside edge, and well, celebration for Grenada. They've kept themselves in it. A fantastic grab behind, somewhat of a thin edge on that one. Pushing again at it was Valentine, and he has to depart for 11, 77 for 4.
They were deliberately pushing that one outside the off stump, not wanting to offer the left-hander the opportunity of playing him into the onside. And the batsman Valentine falling for the trap, chasing after the delivery.
Well, the new batter is Malik Gerald. Gerald went for a duck the last time he was at the crease.
St. Vincent and the Grenadines 90 without loss after in the 10th over at Woodburn.
Yeah, they're certainly motoring along over at Woodburn, but here at Lears, 8 overs have been bowled. It's 77 for for 4.
And a successful entry into the attack, captain, pulling the leg spinner out of the attack after just the 1 over and bringing the left arm orthodox spinner, reaping success with it immediately.
Well, we see why Cyrus was taken out of the attack, because they had plans on bringing him now from this pavilion end. So he's coming back now to bowl his second over of this innings.
Switched around, quite understandably. The spinning, expected to generally spin the ball away from the right-handed batters.
That's certainly what Grenada would be looking for, because we mentioned once again that win factor and looking to get that field right, especially on the leg side. There's a man at deep square leg, a man at deep mid-wicket. The long on is also here on the boundary. So in terms of ensuring that the protection is more so on the leg side is here for Cyrus. There's also a man sweeping on the cover boundary and a long off. Those are the 5 men outside the circle at the moment. And he fires that in an expected fashion. Really into some good work is Cyrus. His first over went for 8, so relatively quiet. I do know that there were 5 wides in there as well, so just 3 runs off the bat from his first over. And 3 dot balls to start this one. So building up a bit of pressure on Antigua and Barbuda. It's nice to see that Gerald is walking down to have a conversation with Marilyn, because it's really about understanding that, okay, sure, good balls must bowl in cricket, but if you're still here, you have a chance to keep things going, find a way maybe to rotate the strike. Just like that.
Which one may suspect he might have told him, if you notice, Moreland was prepared to play the ball off the pitch. Whatever that discussion was, we noticed that the next delivery, Moreland was onto the front foot and driving at the mid-off, not staying back in his crease. So that may have been the message.
Certainly doesn't get the connection onto it. The fielder has absolutely no clue what is happening. He was looking up, but the ball was down, and they're scampering. Oh my goodness, there's trouble here. Should be a run out. Oh no. It is all happening here. A circus of events, you would have to say.
When I was a boy, Joel, there was a television show called Foul Up, Bleeps and Blunders. And it all happened there on that occasion. The batsman looking for the big drive, mistimed it badly. The ball fell harmlessly into a short, whitish extra cover position. The fielder at middle, at long off, looking to the skies, expecting the ball to be coming somewhere near him. Then we had a situation where the non-striker Gerald came coming back for a second run. Well, the striker actually, and both batsmen left in one crease. The return came into the bowler, who fired his return up to the striker's end. But luckily for Gerald, the keeper unable to take a wide return. So well, then, in the end, all is well that ends well.
Oh no, he's got to go. Can you believe it? I certainly can't. Wicket number 5 is down. And well,
what is happening here? We saw the fielder miss the ball in the air. But I get the feeling that the batsman Morelon had no idea where that ball had actually gone, because the ball had traveled harmlessly to the fielder at deep mid square leg. He came in, picked it up, and it was just a matter of holding your ground, a safe one. I mean, watch it here again. The ball played away into the, well, we're not exactly going to see it here, but the ball played away into the onside, and Morelon coming easily into his crease for the first run. And I'm almost sure I don't think he could have had that much of a brain fade, Joel. I think it was a case of not knowing exactly where the ball was, believing that the ball was someplace else other than where it actually was, and just gifting his wicket. That was a gift of a wicket if ever there was one.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you would have to call it a comedy of errors. The previous delivery, the fielder had his head in the air looking for the ball. It was actually on the ground. They found themselves mid-pitch, had a bit of a conference. No run out there. The very next delivery, only heaven knows what happens. Well, you know, batter to the crease is Jerron Jones. 81 for 5 now, and we're into over number 10.
Luckily, we didn't have to describe it because the viewers would have seen exactly what happened on the screen, but it would have been very difficult to describe if that wasn't the case.
Still a lot of chatter going around the venue because I'm certain that many are bewildered, confused, and confuddled as to what their eyes just witnessed. But there's still lovely cricket action here at Lears. Charles to continue. It's one of those things that, had you not been here,
As I said, how do you describe that to someone who wasn't here? A gift of a wicket. The guy just forfeited his hand. Be interesting to hear his perspective, though, Joel. Very much.
Well, they've not stopped talking about it here at Lears. We talked about the fact that running will be crucial, especially when the boundaries weren't coming. Things slowed down for Antigua and Barbuda. And after things slowed down, a couple errors in communication, and at one stage it worked for them because there was no run out. They were still safe, and then, well, things have gone from bad to worse.
What looked like a promising innings from Moreland too, coming to a bizarre end.
It's just been interesting to note that even though the wickets have been falling at regular intervals, the runs have still been coming for them. That run rate, now another little mix-up maybe, no, gets there safely. So it's just been interesting that even though the wickets have been falling, that rate has never really dropped below 8 since the start of this. Well, we're at the halfway stage now. 10 overs have been bowled, 84 for 5.
Another very eventful over. Reynold Charles continues to do the work for his captain, because in his 2 overs just costing the 4 runs, and he's already picked up a wicket. So at the halfway stage, 84 for 5, as we're going to have a refreshment break. I think everybody needs this little cooling period after the frenetic action of those first 10 overs, and I can go into looking at the Antigua's scorecard. 84 for 5 from 10, so traveling along at a good rate, but I'm sure that they would not have wanted to lose as many as 5 wickets in the first half of their innings. Lawrence at the top, 17. Marcelin, 1 ball, his first ball duck. Moore, 8. Valentine, 11. Gerald, 3. I think we might have gotten it slightly wrong here. Have the scorers got it correctly here? Is Murray Lawn is the batsman run out? Who was the batsman run out? So I was calling Murray Lawn, Gerald, and Gerald Murray Lawn all along. So it has actually been Gerald who was run out. Reading the wrong scorecard, Andrew, the wrong monitor. One monitor saying something different. So we've got it right. Moreland was run up for 19.
Mm-hmm. And what you need to do is to listen to your daughter.
Rather than look at the monitor.
Yeah, but it was comical, wasn't it, that run out?
But bizarre. I found it totally flabbergasting. I still can't understand what happened, Andrew.
Having looked at what happened a couple of balls earlier.
The delivery earlier, I mean.
What do you think happened there, though?
I just think that he lost clearly lost where the ball had traveled
Right.
to, and figuring that there was another run on offer, he would have believed that the ball was someplace completely different. That's the only explanation I can give for it, because the ball went straight to the fielder.
Straight to the
It was a
fielder.
simple, straightforward single, and that was
Yes.
the end of that. And then for no reason at all, he came charging
Yeah.
back down the wicket, and the fielder just had the task of lobbing the ball back into the keeper.
As we were saying, Bob, he turned blind. It was comical, and he's gone. And it's now 84 for 5. This certainly represents an interesting position for both sides. One in that certainly, when you look at it, Grenada looking no doubt to exert a great deal of pressure to restrict them to maybe 120, 130. On the other hand, Antigua and Bob Buda hoping that Gerald and Jones can really get things going and try to get them up to 150, but we shall see. The rate is 8.40. So the action continues as it's going to be Cyrus. He's in bowls. And he's not bowled badly. 2 of us costing 12.
Fast leg spinner, Andrew.
Yep.
Reminds, who does he remind you of?
Kumble, possibly.
Yeah,
But
Combe.
yeah, I think so.
He actually flighted up that last
He did,
delivery.
yeah.
As
So
if to prove me wrong.
so he wasn't Kumble then. Well, who does he remind you of?
Well, I mentioned the name
Kumble.
Bhagwat Chandrasekhar.
Chandrasekhar earlier.
At the
yeah,
start.
right.
Earlier.
Okay.
Sandal Badri also, but Sandal Badri hardly bowled a leg break, though he bowled mainly googlies and top spinners.
He did, yeah, you're right. And was part of the West Indies management team for the T20s in South Africa that they won, 2-1. Congratulations to the West Indies side. Still awaiting the schedule for the West Indies-India battle. Of course, I understand it's going to be at the end of what, July, August? That has in fact been promised about two weeks ago.
But what Cyrus has been able to do is to keep the batsmen in check, keep things fairly quiet from his end, very economical up to this point. You know what they say about the commentator's curse. He's come and bowled a full toss and got knocked out of the ground next delivery.
So Jones, of course, just playing it safe now with the loss of Rulin, run out needlessly for 19. Suppose he wants to just knock the ball around and then go for the charge if possible later on in the innings. But we shall see. No, that's it very well. That's gone. It was wide and he hit it through extra cover. Lovely power exhibited there, and that was hit away for the 4, but he had to chase after that and did it very well. 92 for 5.
One of the few deliveries that we didn't see pushed through by Cyrus. It was floated up outside the all stump, and as you said, the batsman coming across his wicket and reaching out to it, but timing it well, very well timed, hitting it hard over extra cover.
The other thing too is that what I note is that a lot of bowlers tend to go for a boundary of the last ball. Maybe, you know, as a keeper, with some distinction for YMPC. I'll invite your thoughts on that, because I don't know what it is. I mean, you bowl well, good single, putting some pressure on the fielder coming in from that cover area. But then I don't know what happens if they lose the plot, but they generally then bowl that last ball badly.
Looking to do something differently, happen to be successful, probably now trying to see if they can outfox the batsman.
So one, will they come back for the second? Where they look to be very fit policemen, and they will get that second run. So it's a matter now of a lot of balls left here. They've lost 5 wickets. I think they're now looking to ensure that they settle the innings and try to get up to maybe 140 if possible, or even more. We shall see. Chance for a catch. Oh, not taken. That was a dolly. I would have taken that. You would have taken that as well, and your daughter.
Even without the gloves.
Oh, my golly.
But Cyrus going into the pitch, as he's been showing to do from time to time, and the batsman there, it was Gerald.
It was actually Cato who dropped it.
Straight
Can
into
you imagine
his chest.
that, Cato? Oh, the man who made 145 batted so well the last time they played here. Went straight to him, Cato. Maybe his beard got in the way because I'm saying Cato, I know him very well. And he has a very big beard.
Floored a sitter.
Yeah. So here we go. More runs. They should get two comfortably. And they come back for that second run comfortably. Someone saying up and down, up and down.
Just about to say that the Antigua would want to weather this spell here between the two spinners, Cyrus and Charles. Just as I was about to say that, the batsman offered an opportunity for a catch.
Cato's the fielder. Keep your eyes on him. Picks it up nicely. Ironic cheers. All right, so the 100 has come from the board. Sullivan of Antigua will be quite happy with that. 12 gone, 100 for 5.
Exactly, 12 overs. And Cyrus continues, not Cyrus, and Charles continues to reel away from that southern end and keep the batsmen in check. They haven't been able to really break free to his bowling. I don't think he's conceded a boundary, no. 3 overs for just 12 runs. And a number of dot balls, 8 dot balls in there, and no boundaries conceded. But this spell between Cyrus and Charles has been very economical, quite a good work being done by both bowlers.
Darrell Charles will continue. He'll bowl to Gerald. Good tumbling save at the extra cover area. Have that gone past Thomas? Yeah. It might have gone pretty close to the boundary. The fielder long off would have had a run to the left. Good work by Thomas. Still doing a good job. They've added 20 so far. And just hoping to be at the crease when it's time for the happy hour.
I don't think Grenada would mind the singles.
But he's been given like before. On the back foot, struck in the pan. The umpire took a long time to give that. That was one that really fizzed through. It was the Cumberland-like delivery.
So palpable that it almost seems as if the umpire was giving her a chance to walk.
Yes, yes.
Was giving the batter a chance to walk for leg before wicket.
And let's have a look at this. On the back, yes, that would have hit not the off stump, not the leg, the middle. And a good change of pace as well by the bowler, producing the wicket of Jones. Gone for 5 is 101 for 6.
Skidding through again, bowling it into the pitch, and the batter get that hit on the back foot right in front of middle stump, Andrew.
Yeah, look at the umpire there. I think he's expecting him to walk.
The umpire was almost embarrassed.
Yeah, I think so, to give that.
I think umpire Carrington was almost embarrassed to give that.
So, 101 for 6. So, looks as if they could very well be bowled out, Antigua.
Antigua gone into a bit of a deep. Yes, still some 7.5 overs left.
Yeah, they may not make it to 20, we shall see. Another good performance by Grenada. They've looked good, Grenada, St. Vincent, and the Grenadines, of course, and Barbados, and Trinidad and Tobago with Lendl Simmons, who played today, got 21 from 8, and then was run out, much to the disappointment of the good crowd that is gathered here at Lears.
As long as Simmons in that Trinidad side, they remain a danger.
I would imagine. No doubt about that. In fact, the players from the BVI were quite happy to take several pictures with him after the game. In fact, many people came and got pictures with him, and he was happy to do it as well.
One of the star players of that dominant era for West Indies in T20 cricket, Lendl Simmons. 2 World Cup victories. I think he would have been involved in both.
Yes, he was. Very much so indeed. very important player for the West Indies. Always gave them a good start as well. So Cyrus's last ball. And he's been pretty good, Cyrus. Bang on target. And he's finished his 4 overs, 1 for 23. So good work from Darryl Cyrus, the leg spinner, by Crick.
Excellent
And
work.
he must be quite happy. So at the end of over number 13 is 103 for a loss of 6.
Excellent work between himself and Charles. The spinners really doing the job for the Grenadians here in the middle overs as we head down to that final death stage of the innings. But I'm afraid that the Antigua and Barbudan team may find themselves short of a couple of wickets whom they would have wanted to have at their disposal going into the death.
Yep, you're right. So it's going to be Charles to continue. Too short and put away.
That's 4.
That's 4. It's extra cover. Bad delivery. And put it away.
First real rank bad ball bowled by Charles. Again, looking to go into the pitch. I've been recognizing that that has been part of his method, bowling into the pitch, but on this occasion, offering too much room outside that off stump and being put away. But Andrew, you know, you mentioned about the West Indies. Sorry.
You're right. It was too short and wide. We're almost like a free hit there, really, over extra cover. And that was not good bowling at all by Rendell Charles.
Into the pitch
Again,
again.
he's short. And he's pulled away. That's gone for 6. And that deserved 6 over backward square. It was a rank long hop and put away by Gerald.
Well, all the good work that he would have done in the previous 3 overs really undone with these last 2 deliveries.
Yeah,
Meat and drink
Yep.
on a Friday afternoon.
Good Friday. And a good shot.
Yes, I was telling you, Andrew, you talked about the West Indies 2-1 victory at the T20 series in South Africa. You talked about Lendl Simmons and that dominant West Indies period. That 2-1 victory, though, would that have representative like a close of a chapter? Because here we are, the West Indies beating a top 8 side in the T20 series with none of the real old stalwarts. The Bravos, the Simmonses, the Pollards, Gales, none the like. Would that have represented then the close of a chapter at the beginning of a new one?
Possibly. Yeah, that's a good point you're making. Much better delivery from Charles. Good length, good line.
Like what I'm seeing there, the fielder charging in off the long off boundary, challenging the ball, not allowing the batsman any possibility of coming back for a second run.
Interesting you talk about that series, and only recently I saw a piece coming from Tom Moody, who said that Alzari Joseph, in terms of his variations, remind him of
Andy Roberts. Andy Roberts, yes.
Interesting comment he made.
He talked about Sir Andy's ability to bowl at different paces without any discernible change of action.
Yeah. Well, I immediately called Sir Andy about it, and you know, he was explaining to me what he used to do and confuse bats with a change of pace. They look for a run here, and they'll get it to possibly, yes, they do.
And
Good
also,
aggressive running.
One also gets the feeling that Sir Andy has been doing some work with Joseph, who was an Antiguan like himself.
Yeah, indeed. And he's really come on quite nice. It took a little while to get going. And of course, he may be following the fortunes of his guys from Antigua. At the end of over number 14, 115 for 6.
Yes, excellent. All-round bowler, Alzari Joseph. He's got pace. He does things with the ball. He, like I said, he has his variations, both in pace and in swing and in movement. And he's really been a find, a treasure. I think he has now become a treasure for the West Indies. I think he needs just needs some backup support. Waiting to see how Jaden Seals comes back from his setback.
Yeah, he's been out for quite a while, Jaden Seals.
It'll be interesting to see how he shapes up when he comes back onto the scene.
Well, Josh Thomas comes back into the attack. I suppose that Grenada looking to wrap it up here, bringing one of their top bowlers back to wrap it up, possibly. was a bit wayward with a couple of deliveries, but he got the 2 wickets at the top.
He's pacey.
Very pacey.
He's always going to be a threat to the batsman.
Yep. But he starts his third over as we start over number 15. Lucky to get away with that. That was a full toss.
Hit the bat hard though.
Yep.
You can hear the sound onto the bat. I think the pace might have caught the batsman by surprise.
Yep, yeah, I think so. Well, he possibly might have been expecting a short delivery, but it really rushed on to him. Very athletic is Josh Thomas. Lovely action as well. Good run up. Let's watch this run up.
Yes.
Elbows pumping. It's very well played indeed. And that's going to go to the boundary. Well, on this occasion, the full toss was wide. And he just had to get better than that. Goes down to wide third man. That's an important boundary.
Just using the pace of the bowler there. As I said, just managing to get any bat on that delivery would have resulted in runs. So just getting it slightly round with his length. I think looking for that wide Yorker, Andrew, that has become so prominent in the T20 game.
Yep.
It was wide. He was looking for that Yorker, but he got it a bit too full.
Yeah, third man couldn't get across at all. Third man is no wider. And will have some work to do.
This time he gets the Yorker. Still giving a single.
So partnership of 19 here. They'd love to stretch it to 50. The rate is 8.28. And I think they'll be trying to get to possibly 150.
But if they're able to maintain this rate and actually complete the 20 overs, Andrew, 150, 160.
Yeah, a little bit more, I would think. What a wonderful change of pace. The batsman Gerald played a day and a half early.
Yeah, very well done by Thomas. Another one of the features of the T20 game, variations in pace from the bowlers, and that is one of the things that Tom Modi would have noted about Alzarri Joseph.
So, but do you agree with the comment? Do you think
Yeah,
he was
very
spot
much
on?
so. Yes,
Okay,
I
spot
can
on?
see a lot of Sahani in Alzarri.
Okay.
I definitely do. Another
And Thomas is calling for the ball.
bamboozled.
Yep.
You have to
Kerfuffled.
call it.
Yes.
But yes, Sir Andy was very well known. Well, he didn't hit a lot of helmets because there weren't a lot of helmets around.
Yeah,
He hit a
yeah.
lot of heads.
Yeah.
But Alzarri Joseph, just like him, has run into quite a few helmets here recently.
Yep.
Sylvester Clark was another one of those bowlers with that ability to just up the pace without any change of action whatsoever.
So Thomas's last ball of his third. And he ends well. So the last 3 deliveries, not a run scored, haven't conceded the boundary. Good work by Thomas. And 15 gone, 120 for loss of 6.
Well, yes, that was fine work by Thomas. Again, you can see exactly what he was trying to do throughout that over, either to bowl that full wide Yorker just inside the wide line, or take pace off and deceive the batsman. And for the most part, he succeeded. But that is over number 15, Andrew. I'm going to make my exit. I'm going to invite the Gunsmoke to come back and to see us through to the end of this Antigua and Barbuda innings. Interesting to see where it ends up.
All right, so we wait the arrival of Constable Brathwaite, nicknamed Gunsmoke. Hello, Gunsmoke. How are you, sir?
I'm quite fine, Andrew.
Okay.
Good afternoon to everyone
How
again.
did you get that name?
We call that a long story, Andrew.
It's a long story.
Yes.
And we can't put that on the stream. We can't put that audio on the stream. All right. It'd be interesting to find out how you got that name, Gunsmoke. Was it given to you by your friends?
Yes, a colleague.
A colleague. All right, fair enough. And we shall say no more. So Jeremiah is coming to the attack now, bowling to Mason. So certainly about a little bit Tariq Mason. So this is over number 16. 121 for 6. Partnership of 20 important runs. Could have been different. Gerald has been the top scorer so far. One or two cricketers getting starts but not going on. Payne 17, Valentine 11. Marulin, the captain, run out for 19. So Jeremiah has just conceded 1 run in the over and will want to finish strongly here. Let's see if Gerald has got other ideas. Catch should be taken. It is. Down at long off. Given some air and driven down to long off. The catch is taken. And Grenada has been very, very good. And it means that further trouble now because with the departure of Gerald caught by Charles for 30, it's 121 for 7. I think Gerald there, I think he had to do something with a couple of deliveries, no runs scored. Certainly was a good catch taken. But when you look at it, really, 121 for 7 in trouble.
Yes,
Antigua and
120.
Barbuda.
Yes, Antigua and Barbuda, 121 for 7. Certainly would want somebody to come to the party. This is a happy hour stage of the innings, and we will want somebody to pick up those essential boundaries that they can get probably over 150, the score, to give Grenada a target that would be probably challenging.
Yep.
But given the way Grenada have been playing, much targets are not challenging for them.
They
But
look good.
they look very good and compact. And even today, in their bowling, their field setting, they've had 1 or 2 few blunders. However, they have still looked like that competitive unit.
So Boston comes to the crease, wrapped in the pad, big appeal. Maybe sliding it down the leg side, but a dead good over from Jeremiah. And over in which he got a wicket and just conceded 1. Applause you can pick up in the microphone. 16 gone, it's 121 for 7.
Yes, Andrew, and Antigua and Barbuda will want to get some boundaries at this stage and rotate the strike to put the pressure on Grenada. And certainly Grenada, who have continued to show class in this tournament. And I think in the semi-final tomorrow, you want to see if they can continue that way, Andrew.
Yep. So tomorrow, the place to be would be at Weymouth. And it starts at 10 o'clock. Let's hope the weather is good. It's been absolutely brilliant so far. A little bit of rain this morning when I was doing my early morning jog. But given away to brilliant sunshine. Of course, this is the time of the year when you struggle to keep your outfields in good shape. We know there are some grounds that are really struggling. And if we can get some rain during the week when the season started on April the 15th, that'll be very good. I mean, fair amount of rain to just help the grounds. They really need it.
Well, Andrew, the information from the Barbados National Oil Company, where St. Vincent are taking on the Cayman Islands. St. Vincent 192 without loss in 15 overs.
Say that again.
St. Vincent playing the Cayman Islands at the oil company there in Woodbourne. 192 without loss in 15 overs.
And what a performance from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. 192 without loss in 15.
And the openers, Hooper, he's on 93.
Right.
And Brown on 75.
All right. So we kept you up to date with that game. St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Grenada, Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago. Looking for the coup de grace. That's a lovely shot. Beautifully played indeed. And it deserves 4 and will get 4. Beautifully played, wide of long off. That's gone away for 4. Welcome boundary to carry it to 128 for 7.
Well, that's a beautiful shot there from Batson, and picking up a welcome boundary for the Antigua and Barbuda side. But Andrew, earlier I heard you speaking about Thomas and his action. He somewhat reminds me, if you ever saw Ryan Best, how smooth, and when he gets here, how he delivers. And every time I look at him, I remember Ryan Best.
So that was very well played. Wide of long off. Let's see what Thomas will do in his last over. How will he respond to this? He responds with a slow ball. He's bowled that slow ball consistently, and it has been successful as well. So we really want to thank our friends at Lears in St. Michael North East, I'm told, constituency of the Prime Minister, Mayor Amo Mortley, Auntie Mayor she's called. And you're not in that constituency, are you?
No, I'm a St. Philip man.
Oh, you're a St. Philip man. We get a single comfortably. Which constituency are you in?
Mr. Indarweer.
Indarweer is your man. So that's St. Philip South. All right. So here's Thomas to bowl his last ball. He's conceded 40, a bit expensive, but he's picked up 2 wickets. Last ball of over number 17 is about to be bowled. What a lovely delivery. He's really cut down on his pace, looking for control, and has come back quite well. Thomas Fovers, no better than 2 for 40 to end his spell. He gets his cap in the former Windward's fast ball. I say former, but of course the Skies are quite keen to continue to play. Has done well, very athletic, good action, good pace as well. And I'm sure when he goes back to Grenada, he'll tell everyone that the pitch at Lears is a good one for fast bowling. 17 gone, 127 for 7.
Yes, Andrew, Thomas completing that spell, and he really bowled with a lot of variations, and he really controlled on this wicket here today. And Thomas, we want to continue in that way on to the semi-finals. The way he's bowling excellently, pitching the ball in the right areas, and certainly the variations, the slower balls, he bowling very well. And Grenada, he's doing very well for Grenada.
Well, it's going to be Jeremiah to continue. Big appeal, gone leg before, played across it. In fact, someone said dead. And, something had to give. Good delivery, bang on target. Boston played across it, gone. And further trouble, big trouble. 127 for loss of 8 in over number 18. Right across it. It's a ball that was full and would have hit the middle stump. There's no doubt about that. The umpire had a very, very, very easy decision to make there.
What you find, Andrew, from yesterday, you find a lot of batsmen playing a lot of cross-batted shots, and the LBW, especially in the Barbados camp, and you realize that yesterday that was their demise.
Yep, well. Cornelius comes out to do battle. James Cornelius. And will want to stay along with Mason and try at least to bat the 20 overs out and eke another 20 runs. We shall see. Here's Jeremiah. I'm told that Cornelius can give it a whack. Left-handed player. Good shoulders. Well, it's also going to be interesting to see how Mason plays this. He's faced 12 balls for just 9. But occupation, the crease is important here as well. You won't want to be bowled out on the 20.
That's correct. Is this Mason family to you, Andrew?
No. Good bowling by Jeremiah. It was wide. Saw the batsman come in and bowled it wide. Very good bowling indeed. Keeping the batsman quiet, keeping Mason quiet. That was pretty quick from Jeremiah. He's got 2 balls left in the over. Mason gets a single, and I suppose would maybe want to keep most of the strike here, but this has been a good piece of bowling by Jeremiah. He's just only conceded 3 and is about to complete his second over. 1 ball left.
And he's been bowling brilliantly so far, Jeremiah.
No, Cornelius can't get him away. Good bowling, as you said. 2 gone for him. He's picked up 2 for 3. 18 gone. It's 129 for 8.
At 129 for 8, with 2 overs left, Andrew. What score that you think Antigua and Barbuda can get up to?
Well, I mean, you're looking at what, 12 balls, if they can work it around, maybe try to get 140. You never know, small scores can give trouble. But at the moment, 129 for 8, they're short, there's no doubt about that. And Mason has got the strike, and he can bat a bit. I'm sure they'll welcome a couple of boundaries here. But I would think they would be looking to get at least in the next 12 balls available, maybe another 12 runs or so. Try to get up to 140 and work with that. Get a couple of wickets early. Put the Antigua cat among the Grenada pigeons and see what happens.
Well, certainly they will have to go all out at this stage with 2 overs left. 140 is a good total to put on the board to defend. However, to get there, they must at this stage look to get after the ball in there.
Dubisek is back into the attack to bowl his 3rd. He opened the bowling with Thomas. Mason examines the field carefully. The 3rd man has been pulled inside the circle, which means that the backward square will go right back on the boundary. So there's a man at mid-wicket on the boundary, backward square, and a long on. So we start over number 19. Drive, is there a chance for a cat dropping just in front? They should look to come back for the second. The return comes in, and he gets back for the second. So it looks as if Mason has decided, look, I'm going to try to play with freedom. I'm going to be calculated here. I'd love to get from the remaining 11 balls, maybe 20. I want to get as close to 150 as possible. We shall see. The first ball of over number 19, 2 came.
Well, that should be the mindset of Mason, trying to see as much runs in that he can get.
Chance for a catch. Catch taken. So good piece of bowling from Dubisek. He bowled it slower. Mason played a day and a half early, spooned off the outside edge, and 3rd man came forward to collect the catch comfortably. So, more trouble. It's 131 for 9.
Yes, and Mason was deceived by the slow ball from Dubisek, and just spooning that one in the man at short, 3rd man taking a comfortable catch. 131 for 9.
Yeah, certain change of pace, and I think he played early. Big edge, meaty edge, and it just dollied it down towards short 3rd man for the catch. But this has been a good effort on the part of Antigua, well, pardon me, Grenada, because when you look at it, it's 131 for 9, and one of the favorites, no doubt, in this competition. St. Vincent's, they've looked very good indeed. And in the camp of Grenada and in St. Vincent. There are players that represent the various countries and would have also represented the Windwards as well, and that makes a difference.
Yes, it makes a big difference, Andrew. It adds value to the tournament and to cricket on a whole. And we would see that these players will continue to play and our players will get better.
So Doobie said it's clearly recognized that, look, I'm not going to look to bowl fast. I'm going to just take some of the pace out of the deliveries, as he did to get rid of Mason, who played early. And that slow ball is very effective in T20 cricket. We've seen it all over the world. But of course, there's a gentleman from Barbados called Franklin Stevenson who bowled a slow ball before anyone way back in 1920.
I wasn't born then, so I wouldn't know, Andrew.
Very good slow ball. Perhaps the best all-rounder that we produced that never played for the West Indies, Franklin Stevenson. It's now got a Franklin Stevenson Academy going, and from all reports, it's been very successful. Working with the youngsters in the country. Well, Bernard doesn't look as if he can bat. It looks as if he's batting with a cuckoo stick or a needle. Can't get bat on the ball. So one to come. We said it's been brilliant. 2 for 16, good variations. And I'll be quite interested to see what he does with this last delivery here.
Yes, Andrew, you've been bowling very well, and he's taking the pace off the ball, which is of importance.
No, this is good bowling because that delivery was quick. And having bowled 3 or 4 very good slow balls, he ends with one quicker. And as a result of the extra pace, it went quickly past Bernard's bat. And what a spell from him. 2 wickets for 16 runs from 3 overs. 19 gone. It's 131 for 9.
Yes, Doobie said bowling 3 overs for just 16, picking up 2 wickets. He's been bowling very well. His length and length were very on target, and his variations was excellent. And he do have an excellent slow ball, and hence Mason and those couldn't play him. But he continues to bowl well in this competition, Doobie said.
So we're at the stage where the last overs are going to be bowled. Here's Jeremiah. Will they come back for the second? They will. On a fumble. Done it wide long on. So 2 from the first ball of the last over. Cornelius would love to get a boundary or 2 here. They'd love to get to 140. We shall see. Very well bowled indeed by Jeremiah. That was hit into the pitch. And Cornelius just couldn't put it away. Easy catch. Down at mid wicket. It's all over. In the last over. Good piece of bowling from Jeremiah. Cornelius goes, caught up mid wicket. And Antigua and Barbuda surrendering here in over number 20, all up for 133. Good work by the men from the Spice Isle. Brilliant performance from them.
Well, yes, that's a brilliant performance from Grenada. And they certainly would want to come now with the bat and to chase down these runs with as few wickets lost as much. And they want to continue their winning ways.
Yeah, one would think so. And prepare for the semi-finals tomorrow. So, 133 all out in 19 overs and 3 balls with a rate of 6.82. So 2 things wrong in that the rate is not good at all, and they've been all out for 133. And when you look at this scoreboard, only 1 batsman really got going. Gerald got 30. Marillion threatened briefly for 19 at the top. Payne got 17, but You didn't get performances from Moore, who can bat a bit. Marcelin didn't score. Good work on the part of the Grenada side. And then at the back end of the end, it was only Mason who got into double figures. And I mean, Thomas at the top was a bit expensive, but he bowled with pace, then came back for his second spell and tidied up things nicely. To start the problems for his opponents, he picked up 2 for 40. Dubisset was brilliant, good control, 2 for 16 from 3. And at the end, it was Jeremy who was the leading wicket taker, just conceding 5 runs and picking up 3 wickets in 2 overs and 3 balls with support from Charles and Cyrus.
Well, that's brilliant bowling from the Grenadian side. They came with a plan and they executed their plan and restricted the Antigua and Barbuda side to 133 all out. And excellent bowling from their bowlers.
Indeed. So, the target for the Grenadians, 134, as the music pumps in the background. Lovely atmosphere at Lears in St. Michael. And the news is that's 133 all out. And we'll come back in about 10 minutes or so. I would imagine that the Grenadians should go on to win this.
Welcome back to the action. The final innings is about to get underway in this doubleheader here at Lairs. It's certainly been a fantastic day for cricket. Entertainment all around, and we're in for what should be a very good finish here as well. If you're just joining us, it's Grenada versus Antigua and Barbuda. Antigua and Barbuda, they batted first, and they were bowled out for 133, an innings that showed promise and showed signs of kicking on, but certainly didn't get up at a total. What they probably would have wanted, having been inserted to bat by Grenada. There were just moments from this chase getting underway. 134 is what Grenada will need if they will complete what would make it their third win on a trot in this regional police cricket tournament. They've certainly played some fantastic cricket, and their batters have come to the party. Johan Jeremiah and Lyndon Lawrence will get things started for them, and it will be Malik Marcelin to bowl the first over. And it's runs instantly. The opening pair certainly have done a fantastic job for Grenada across this tournament. Jeremiah, he's been in the runs. He got himself a half century in the last one. My name is Joel Manning, and alongside me is Wayne Holder. We're going to get things kicked off here as this chase is now underway. Wayne.
Well, yes, a very confident Grenada side who have swept all before them, except maybe St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and a total of 130. I don't think that is going to scare them any.
Well, they're a team that got up to 300, Wayne, and I'm not too sure I've ever really seen 300 live before my eyes, but it was certainly a fantastic batting performance from them in the last outing, and it was led by Jeremiah at the top. So a total of 134 certainly wouldn't necessarily scare them, but you can't necessarily carry runs to another match with you, so they're going to have to restart here.
What I can tell you is that we had a total of 275 for one up at the oil company, up at Woodburn, that being the St. Vincent and the Grenadines team playing against Cayman. 275 for one in 20 overs. Shaman Hooper 94, Salvan Brown 115 not out. Remember, this is a team who made 272 also for one wicket against the BVI. Douglas on that occasion getting 100. And the captain Maloney also getting a century. So the runs have flowed in this tournament, and we are down to the very final stage now of the preliminary. The last innings in both the matches are currently going on, and I think we can safely say that we can work out the rack for the semi-finals. Should see Barbados and St. Vincent and the Grenadines in one clash, and Grenada and Trinidad and Tobago in the other.
Well, both of them will shape up to be exciting contest going down tomorrow at the Weymouth Cricket Field. But here, it's Lyndon Lawrence. He didn't open the batting in the match before this. It was Roland Cato that got things kicked off.
So as I mentioned, Antigua and Barbuda, no chance of making it through to the next stage, but of course, with all the rivalry going around, there's a lot of pride to be played for, and they would want to finish on a high note. So I think no freebies here for the Grenadians.
Yeah, I think a team like Antigua might tell themselves that they're a little disappointed with how things have gone for them. I think they see themselves as a better team than the results show right now. A loud appeal and a quick nod of the head by the umpire, but some confusion. And that could have been deadly, almost dangerous for Grenada.
Well, a late decision to go for that run. I think everything came to a halt with the appeal. Batsmen, fielders, everybody just stopped waiting for the umpire. And then when they realized that the umpire was not going to give the decision, well, he was not going to give it in the favor of the fielding side. Then we saw the batsman decide to go through for the run. And struck, definitely already struck outside the leg stump with the right arm bowler coming around the wicket.
I mentioned the fact that Lawrence didn't open the batting in the last match. So before that, he got 5, and that's when they were chasing a target of 116. And then against Barbados, he was amongst the runs. He was really the difference maker almost. He got 75 off of 39. So he's had a couple starts in this tournament. And that will do his confidence a world of good. It runs away his first boundary of the afternoon.
Yeah, banged over the top, throwing everything at that one. Pitched up delivery. And Lawrence in a no-nonsense fashion, hitting it over the infield on the offside.
The end of 1, it's 12 without loss.
Right inside, right in the slot, slightly outside the off stump, and the ball coming off the outer half of the bat, but lots of power went into that stroke, and enough to see the ball clear the infield and over the rope at deep cover.
Yeah, certainly a no-nonsense batsman is Lawrence. I think back to the innings that he played down at Weymouth, and from ball 1, he was going at it, and usually with a lot more power than anything else. And this ground just being a touch smaller than Weymouth, you have to tell yourself that he will be licking his chops here and looking for a big total. Well, to pair Marcelin at the other end is going to be Malik Gerald. Opening with 2 seamers here, Antigua and Barbuda.
This game can get away very quickly if the Grenadians are able to get off to a flying start at all. That 132 can be made to look very small.
Certainly, especially with the form that Jeremiah is bringing into this one. He got 68 off of 44 in the match before this, and then he got a 70 not out off of 44 delivery. So he too is in a good nick of form, you would have to say. Wides by the umpire, so extras continue to be a feature in this match.
Not controlling the swing here with the wind again being a factor, blowing up from east to west, from left to right, well, right to left for the bowler bowling from the southern end. And that one eluding everyone, batter, keeper, getting away from the bowler. Around the wicket he comes, and yeah, you can see that distinct swerve as the ball started around the stump line, but then swung away down the leg side, pitching and shooting along the ground. Wicketkeeper never had a chance.
Certainly didn't. The angle also working against him. He's going to want to just get it on target here. Having a go is Jeremiah. And when I think about the win factor, when I think about that, anything that Jeremiah gets onto that ball will sail away. That's certainly not where Gerald would want to be at the moment.
Well, he did make quite an effort to hit that one as far as he possibly could.
I see an adjustment now in the field. The man at fine leg drops back onto the boundary. There's a man at deep mid-wicket. And that will go into the extras column as well. Not the start that Antigua and Barbuda were hoping for. You look at a target of 134, you certainly know that pressure has to be applied from the start, and this certainly is not it.
Well, yes, getting it totally wrong so far, Gerald. Not making the batsman play, actually not threatening the stumps at any time. Just making life fairly difficult for the keeper.
talked about the extras, and fielding will certainly also play a part here as well. Just little mistakes and little errors right now at the start of this innings by Antigua and Barbuda.
Something they can ill afford. Intense week of cricket so far. The competition started last Sunday, and there has been action every day.
A loud appeal. The umpire says that was bat.
Well, yeah, the bowler, I thought, was appeared somewhat disgusted with the decision. That prompted me to keep my eyes on the umpire. So suggesting that there was actually some bat onto that delivery.
There appears to have been a bottom edge on that one, but I'm not too sure the keeper grabbed it. I'm not too sure what happened there. They seemed excited, and the bowler now seems disappointed.
Very animated, he has been. So we get a chance to see it here. Yeah, but the ball dropping ahead of the keeper. If I can come to his defense.
Yeah, the bowler certainly didn't want to see that replay. But yeah, it looked like if there's a bottom edge on that one, but falling just short of the keeper.
Short.
Goes for the bouncer. And once again, the fast bowlers enjoying the conditions here. Some probably asking for a wide. You could certainly probably hear the crowd that's gathered and loud in voice at the moment.
Well, from my perspective, the umpires are fairly lenient there. That one certainly took off over the head of the batter.
It's certainly an interesting contest here. Teasing going on all around, you would have to say. Lawrence looking to get the better of Gerald up to the task at the moment. Just one delivery left in over number 2.
Oh, Gerald quite animated, quite G'd up, I get the feeling.
He comes out on the better end of that one. 10 runs from it, 22 without loss.
Well, the Grenadians, exactly. Much more than the required rate, but getting themselves off to a brisk start in pursuit of a moderate target. 134 runs, defendable if you can get a good start, get among the wickets, and keep the scoring rate down. But as I said, this game can get away quite quickly.
Yeah, it certainly can't get away from Antigua and Barbuda, and hence why you're going to have to really pull things back here. And when I look at the power play scores for Grenada, all have been above 10 runs and over 61 for one. 68 without loss, the last 2 power play scores for them. So a team that usually goes hard at the top, and they've been relatively successful, or not even relative, they've actually been successful in those power play overs. So that certainly will be the key here for Antigua and Barbuda. It's gotten away from them at the start, but it's just about getting 1 or 2 in the right area. 3 and 4 will come after that, being a little more consistent. Bowled him. So as soon as we talked about the runs, here comes the wicket, and it goes to Malik Marcelin.
Well, this time he got it on target, Marcelin, and Jeremiah are playing a shorter ball, basically. You did mention that they tend to go hard in the early overs, and I don't think that shot would have been on. A much better delivery than what was offered from the batsman. I think that delivery deserved a bit more respect, and he is, yes, the delivery starting just outside the off stump, coming in with the angle, and the batsman just having a wild swing more or less, not really playing a definitive cricket shot. And no surprise, the ball taking the top of the off stump, well, the top of the middle stump, and Jeremiah comes back. Very cavalier approach by Jeremiah.
Well, in the context of how things have gone for Jeremiah in this tournament, we would have to call that a failure. He goes for 5. It's 22 for 1.
Still only 2 deliveries in the first over. Seems to be some concern for one of the players out there in the middle. Could it be the wicket keeper? Who is the wicket keeper, Ayana? Who is the wicket keeper? Morillon, the big man, yes. Morillon, it could be him. Yes, I'm seeing him on the floor. So some concern. He's seemingly though gathering himself again. I think I can see him replacing one of his pads, the right pad. So all seems to be well now.
Maybe got a little too excited in the celebration.
But it was a good delivery from Marcelin. Let's not take it away from him. Like I said, right on target delivery, just pitching just on off stump and angling in with him bowling around the wicket to the left hand to Jeremiah.
Yeah, certainly a better line from him, and it goes back to just stringing together deliveries and applying just a bit of pressure. Probably could say maybe a loose shot from Jeremiah, but at the end of the day, that is the fashion of which they bat very positive at the top of the order. He would have told himself that his shot was on, but the victor on the end of it was Marcelin. The new batter to the crease, Nkosi St. Hilaire. Nkosi, my apologies, Nkosi St. Hilaire.
Marcelin going back over the wicket for the right-hander.
It gets off the mark immediately.
Nice defensive shot. Pitched upon the offside, playing it with the full face of the bat into a gap on the offside.
They've lost an early wicket, but I don't think that would change the approach of Lyndon Lawrence. That bounce factor, again, it's been with us across all the matches that we've played here. Went just back of a length. We've seen how high up on the bat a lot of these balls have hit.
Yes, good delivery once again. Cramping Lawrence. And just fending it away into the onside. He's got 2 fielders behind square on the onside.
A bit of a fumble.
Yes, giving a run.
Every run crucial for Antigua and Barbuda. Just a low total, you would think, here of 133 when we think about the amount of runs that have been scored here at this venue. And they will certainly need to be on par in every single department if they will give themselves a chance in this match.
Marcelin, it will not be for lack of trying for Marcelin.
I said it will not change the approach of Lawrence, and we see him there on the goal once more. But a dot ball to close out what has been a fantastic over, you would have to say, for Marcelin. At the end of it, 25 for 1.
Playing through the line of that delivery, just again telling you about the nature of this track, because he was able to come forward. The ball wasn't pitched up into the slot, but because of the nice way the ball comes onto the bat, he was able to flow into a drive. Well, for him, unfortunately, it found the fielder at mid-off, went straight up to him. But a good over from Marcelin.
Certainly a good over from him. And now Gerald has the responsibility or the task of following that up. He had a couple extras in the over before this, straight in line once or twice.
Already some 13 extras in this innings Joel.
That one runs away. And that'll be the first boundary for St. Hilaire.
Not a really convincing shot though. A short delivery. Seemed to be a bit late on the hook shot or the pull shot, and getting it just into the area wide of the man on the 45. Ball running down to the boundary, but not really in control of that shot. So the bowler would be encouraged.
The only thing that, when I look at the field, it's not necessarily set for the short ball. Probably a better area for him. He has more protection, you would have to say, on the offside. There's a man on the boundary at third man, a man sweeping on the cover boundary. So in terms of getting the angle down the leg side and short, you would tell yourself and favor the batter in most scenarios, because anything on it, there's a lot of vacant space out there. Picked up a boundary in the previous delivery. And that vacant space that I talked about has been accessed once again.
Well, I did tell you that the previous shot was not convincing. I don't need any further convincing this time. Short delivery, and he almost disdainfully, not really rocking back onto the back foot with the weight actually on the front foot. He was able to whip it off his hip. And as you mentioned, behind square, only one man, and that is the man at short fine leg. And put away for a boundary.
Put away quite convincingly.
Errant delivery from Gerald, especially given the field that he's got in place. He's got a man deep at cover. He's got the third man in place. I don't think that is exactly what the captain would have been asking of him with the field set.
That's going to be more runs. St. Hilaire, he's on the go.
Well, getting some room to free his arms and swinging into delivery. And once he made contact, the ball spiraling high over backward point, one bouncing to the boundary. So he's gone from short outside the leg stump to over pitched outside the off stump. And the batsman each time glad to accept the offerings. Much tighter line there.
13 runs already coming in this over, an expensive one for Gerald.
That strong breeze picking up again. Wide open spaces though, so no hindrances, no blockages for the wind coming off the St. George Valley area.
Well, the over is not over just yet. Oh, in fact, signaled leg buys by the umpire. So 5 more, or rather 4 more added to that total. 42 for 1 after 4.
Well, full outside the leg stump, and again, getting it really wrong, Gerald, in this over, all over the place. He has been, that delivery outside, lucky that the batter was unable to get any hand onto it, but the total benefited by the same way with 4 leg buys, and at 42 for 1 after 4. Grenada really now taking a stranglehold on this encounter.
Definitely stamping their authority on the opposition at the moment. It's just so interesting that Lawrence has been the quieter of the two at the crease at the moment. You just wonder what the score might look like if he gets off as well. Still in the power play. We're into over number 5. Had he not stopped that, That might have been the shot of the day.
Well, the mid-off man was in for some work for sure.
They had a very good sound off the bat, a very good crisp sound. Rushing him on that occasion, pulling back that length nicely, and a little conversation between Marcelin.
That bounce you mentioned again, Joel. Ball pitching on a good length, getting up towards the splice of the bat, hitting somewhere near the splice. So Marcelin really now warming to his work.
They sneak one. Good cricket, good alertness, good awareness by the Grenadians.
Captain Morillon having his problems behind the wicket. Unable to recover after knocking that ball down. Wide delivery outside the leg stump. He got across well, got a left glove to it and knocked it down. But then having some difficulty in recovering. Has been showing some form of distress.
Certainly sliding down the leg side.
Yes, you can distinct movement of the keeper. Sometimes with these leg before calls, you can always follow the wicket keeper. And Morillon definitely moving down the leg side quite early with that last delivery. No appeal for leg before wicket coming from any of the fielders.
Antigua and Barbuda, they need wickets here today. Another good sound off the bat. Now this contest is heating up here. A lot of words are being exchanged. Really enjoy the conversations that happen out on a cricket field, the cross-talk, the sledging that occurs. Sometimes colourful language included in there as well, but it really adds to the contest.
Well, yes, that is cricket, and it makes improve the value, almost gives improved value to the scenario, the stage that the cricket field is.
Oh, this battle turning into a war of words. Marcelin unsure of why the umpire's finger remained unmoved. Probably an inside edge onto that one.
I get that feeling from here, even from here.
The pot is on the stove. It's beginning to come to a bubble at the moment.
Heat is on.
Sneaks it through. And you just tell yourself that something might happen very soon. The end of 5, it's 45 for 1.
Interesting, Joel, that ball missed everything. You could imagine what it would have been like if that ball had actually struck the batter on the pad. There would be nothing to convince the bowler that that ball wasn't hitting everything. But just to show you how this game goes, he missed that delivery, just missed the leg stump. But had the umpire not given leg before, had that ball been struck, there would have been questions asked of him.
Another good follow-up over by Marcelin. 3 runs coming from it. His second and third over in this spell. Certainly a lot more on the mark and on the money and what would be expected from him. It's just a case of whether or not somebody can bowl well in tandem with him, because that's the only way you're going to keep pressure on in a scenario or a situation like this. One bowler bowling well at one end, but runs leaking from the other, it certainly doesn't go well for Antigua and Barbuda.
Well, they need wickets, though. I think that is going to be key because of the fact that the total they made, a rather modest one, workable, but not frightening in any manner, especially for a decent batting side like Grenada.
The spin will be introduced into the contest now. Searching for a wicket. They've gone to the hand of James Cornelius. What can he do? Can he spin a web? Can he pick a pepper? He starts well. A ring of men on the offside. A man at point, cover and extra cover. In fact, there's a man at backward point, a man at square point as well, a man at cover and extra cover.
Nice start for the off spinner. Just down on that off stump.
The two men back as it's the final over of the power play, the long off and the long on. And it's whipped away into the breeze and into the boundary.
Well, you mentioned that the two fielders outside the circle at long off and long on, and I found it strange that the off spinner going without the deep mid wicket, and then next delivery pitches the angle, going with the angle was the batsman Lawrence. Ball dropping inside the rope at deep mid wicket. Still no change in the field, but that has been unheard of so far. All the off spinners have bowled with that mid-wicket fielder in place, that deep mid-wicket fielder in place.
Slows it up quite nicely and finds the edge on that occasion. Probably closer to probably what he wants to bowl here, given the field that we've seen. I mentioned that 4 men in that offside, quite tight.
Gets the feeling that he's bowling more drifters though.
This one drifts away. Far, far, far away.
Ooh-wee, chirpy, chirpy, cheap, cheap. But that one over pitch, flighted up, brings up the 50 in style, does Lawrence. The man at long on, only admiring the shot as he watched that ball sail over his head. So Lawrence now beginning to warm to the task. 55 or 40 deliveries, 6 fours, and that 6. 50 coming in the final over of the power play.
Ends it with a dot ball, but you would have to say that it was still an expensive over for them. 10 coming from it after 6, 55 for 1.
We are definitely not looking to spin the ball back into the right-handed batsman. Just overspinning actually and looking for that ball drifting away with the breeze. Bowling mainly an off-stump line, but the couple of times that he did manage to get a bit too straight, the batsman took advantage. Those 2 runs coming in just 2 shots, a 4 over, out to mid-wicket and a 6 over long on.
I see the umpire's hand rotating, which tells us that we have reached the end of the power play overs.
At the end of the power play, the Antiguans were 60 for 3.
Five men allowed outside of the circle now. And looking to score down, or rather slow down the scoring. And Antigua and Barbuda have opted for all 5. The runs, though, they keep coming.
Lovely shot. On the pads, whipped away, no protection behind the fielders inside the circle. And once it found the gap, the ball certainly racing away down the slope here to the western side of the Lears ground.
Yeah, 2 straight there. And that's certainly a strong area for St. Hilaire. Just needed to get enough bat onto it. And as we know, the outfield certainly runs away here at Lears. Prompts an adjustment now in the field. The man drops back to deep mid-wicket on the boundary. Oh my goodness, that looked fantastic.
Well, Joel, I haven't seen that shot executed for a long time. A back cut, the rocking back onto the back foot, the delivery short outside the off stump and lifting. But that is what you get from a wicket, a pitch like this where the ball, where the bounces through and you're able to play shots like that. But that was a marvelous back cut. A rare specimen in modern day cricket.
My question here is, when is Kane's season? Because with cuts like that, we could certainly use him. Oh, that was beautiful.
Well, we are into the midst of the reaping, the harvesting of the crop, Joel. Reminds me, Gun Smoke of Lionel Sandiford, Cap Sandiford, man, playing that back cut.
Goes for the block hole.
Definitely coming a bit fuller. Still probably chastened by that last shot.
That's the first boundary that's been hit off of Marcelin for some time. I mentioned that his second and third overs really were on the mark, asked the right questions, rewarded with a wicket. As soon as we mentioned that, just straying now. So it looks like he just might have been just a little unsettled from that for the start of the over.
A feature that I've observed in this competition is that the number of opening bowlers who have our captains have opted to go right through. And I mean, sometimes coming down to this fourth over, you can see the effects. Bowlers beginning to tire and not being as efficient.
Whipped away. Oh my dear me. That is thrice as nice.
Well, we can start some kind of a quiz or competition, Joel. Which was the better shot, the back cut early in the over or that whip off the heads? We're going to ask our viewers to question that one. Apparently, the overwhelming so far from the votes I have received, Mark, says that whip off the head was the better shot.
Well, I do believe they call that a bit of the calypso cricket. It certainly had all the looks, maybe the finest in the book. Got onto it quite quickly. And put that away to the delight of many spectators here.
And I put that all down to the pitch, the fact that the ball is coming through, it's bouncing. Batsmen are able to play those kinds of shots. The only thing we need now to see is a spectacular catch in the slips. I think that's the only thing that we haven't seen, a really outstanding slip catch.
Probably gets away with one there.
And a bit fuller. I think that made a difference. But as I said, opting to go with bowlers bowling all 4 overs, I've never been in favor of that in the T20 game. I think that you need especially your better bowlers, you need them at their strongest at all times. So you give them a break, let them catch themselves and come back when they're able to give you that 100% effort once again. I can clearly see Marcelin here beginning to tire as he comes to the end of this 4th over.
It's been some time since we've seen Lyndon Lawrence on strike. The end, though, of over number 7, it's 69 for 1.
Well, yes, you're so correct because St. Hilaire has come to the wicket after Lawrence, and he's raced up to 26 off 14 balls. Lawrence still there on 16 from 22. But as I said, not getting a lot of the strike, and I don't think that anyone supporting the Antigua side are really worried about that. As we look at it here, the scorecard so far dominated by Nkosi and St. Hilaire. Marcelin finishing with 1 for 26 from his 4 overs.
It's definitely all been the Hilaire show here at Lairs. Nothing hilarious about it if you are Antigua and Barbuda. It's going to be James Cornelius to continue. A bit more protection for him. And this is where you really talk about good cricket. The boundaries have coming, and good running, another facet of the game. I've really enjoyed how Grenada has gone about running across the matches that I've seen them play, and that, to my mind, is why they've been able to not only dominate sides but get to the type of totals that they have in this competition.
Well, that was a very risky second run. I myself had my doubts when I saw them turn for it. The return was a good one, not really the most powerful, but a desperate dive at the end there by Lawrence.
Thought about it, teasing, tempting, was Cornelius.
Noticeably, there is now the mid-wicket fielder in the deep in place.
I might be inclined to think that he might want to just drift maybe a couple, 5-6 paces to his left. I talked about the fact that the power play is over and that protection comes into play there for Cornelius. Able to control it a little better here, bowling outside of the power play. 10 runs came off of the final over that he bowled in the power play. And the single from that previous delivery brought up the 50 partnership for them.
33 deliveries, 7 fours and a 6. So being able, with that mid-wicket in place, Cornelius is allowed to bowl a bit straighter. Lovely
The
shot.
Hilaire show continues. At the end of that over, 8 gone, 77 for 1.
Well, an exhibition of stroke play here given by St. Hilaire. That time backing away outside the leg stump and opening up the offside field, finding the space, timing the ball beautifully. Everything about that was right. Lovely cricket, beautiful execution. We see that delivery pitching down outside the offside, spinning back into him too, but he was, because he had made enough room into the off, out towards leg, opening up, freeing his arms, and then finding the gap, hitting it cleanly, and finding the gap through extra cover.
He picked up the length very quickly, and I think that is what allowed him to get back and work that ball through the offside. It always comes down to footwork. I guess when you're playing spin, you talk about one, trusting your defense, but two, in terms of making an early assessment of that length, and then from there committing to the shot that you want to play. He committed very early onto the back foot and played it quite nicely and deserved 4.
Interesting you talk about footwork, because many people tend to think that of using the feet as going towards the deliveries, but there's always that room to move away from the ball. That again, I remember talking to Sir Everton, and him telling me the same thing. You know, he said a lot of people forget that there's a lot of room between the crease and the stumps, and that makes a whole lot of difference, particularly when playing spin bowling. And there we saw an exhibition of that from young St. Hilaire.
Marcelin has bowled his 4, which means that a change from this pavilion end. It's going to be Tariq Mason to bowl his first. A bit of a false start there. Must head back to his mark. Once again, those flags just fluttering in the background. The flag of Antigua and Barbuda on the screen. The flag of Grenada just to the left of it, just out of shot. It's been lovely to just see them at every single match, just flying high. I enjoy how colourful the flags of the Caribbean are. I guess it speaks to the people, very colourful people we are.
A lot of that color not on show now, Joel, because of the dry season. And you look into the distance, it's all looking parched and brown. I can assure you that come back to the same venue in another 4 or 5 months. When you look up towards the west, you'll see lots of color as the much more verdant and bountiful looking countryside. But right now, everything just parched as we enter the dry season. There we see the Grenada flag. Tariq Mason, decent medium pace, nothing. fire about his bowling. Antigua desperately in need of a breakthrough.
Lawrence still out there. It's almost as if we've forgotten about him with the way that St. Hilaire has been going, but he's been chipping along, motoring along and playing, I guess, the supporting act in what has been a very good partnership so far for Grenada. Chipping away at the required runs. 55 now needed for victory.
Good delivery. Right on, looking towards the toes of the batsman, St. Hilaire. Can only block it out.
He's really looked the perfect picture, has St. Hilaire, since he's come to the crease. He's taken advantage of the bad balls. He's worked around the good balls and kept the score ticking over. And that's certainly what you want, especially in a T20 match. Not the biggest of totals, but still chasing it down in what would be, I guess, the expected fashion.
And it has been authentic stroke play, not looking for those big extravagant shots over the top, not looking for the improvisations, authentic Caribbean calypso stroke play.
I think almost looking at the comparison between how the two sides have batted within the first 10 overs, I think that is the difference here, whereby St. Hilaire's allowed that ball to come to him. It's more so been about the timing and playing what we call those classical cricket shots, whereas when Antigua and Barbuda were batting, it was a case of looking for power from them, and I guess it didn't come off how they expected it or wanted it to come off for them.
Forcing the issue somewhat.
The end of 9, 81 for 1.
The flashing blade of St. Hilaire missing that whitish delivery outside the off stump. He would have thought that that was in the briar patch for that square, that back cut again, but the ball not bouncing to his liking, keeping a bit lower than he would have anticipated. And the Grenada very much on their way to take this one. Would take a collapse of cataclysmic proportions to get the Antiguans back in this one as far as winning is concerned. We see the road being wet, the construction going on in that area, Joel, and it's become very dusty once with all the dry, with the dry time that we're in. So in an attempt to keep some of the dust down, we see some application of some agua.
Coming into the attack now from the road end, LaShawn Bernard. Some more spin being utilized by Antigua and Barbuda. Left arm spin this time. Just having a look at Lawrence, 19 from 27. Lawrence tries to get in on the act. 4 men converging on that one, but none of them could get there.
Ball dropped perfectly in the middle of those 4 fielders. Bit of a chip there from...
A bit of math, I guess you would have to call it. Pythagoras theorem, probably on that particular occasion. Falling into the right space, at the right time, with the right angle.
Sounding like the soccer fire you are. Hear about a lady having the figure of an isosceles.
I think thinking somewhat of a Venn diagram and the perfect intersection point. Certainly where that ball landed.
Banged!
Goes again, and he gets all of it.
Well, you told me about this, Lawrence. You warned me about Lawrence, and now I see what you were talking about.
This guy can pack a punch. He hits it far, does Lyndon Lawrence. The first time, I guess you would have to call it the test run. And his second time was perfect execution by him.
Creamed that one, silky and smooth as the ice cream you talked about yesterday, manufactured away to our far in front of us to the south. But that was a creamy shot.
Should you have to call a flavor, I'd probably say that was a bit of a Dutch chocolate there. The best of the lot, you would have to say, from Lyndon Lawrence, the double L.
That ball has gone quite a distance and having to be retrieved. We see the fielders in the distance searching for it in the bush. That ball almost disappeared.
Given policemen, they'll be accustomed to a bit of search and rescue, and I guess it falls into this.
Well, yes, Sean will be able to tell us a bit about that. Searching for clues in the bush over away from us. But that was really a fantastic shot. Beautifully executed, coming clean off the middle of the bat. I'm sure as a batsman you would enjoy that. There's always a feeling you get when that ball hits the middle of the bat and you really time the ball. It is a feeling that you really can't describe. That happens for batsmen.
It certainly was a very crisp one, and what it does is bring us to a bit of a break, a pause, a lull in play attempts to savor what we just witnessed.
Well, a new ball had to be chosen, but a different ball, and not necessarily a new one.
A different ball, and they hope that the result is different
well,
for them.
That one has not been retrieved. I think the search has been abandoned.
It's time to call home the troops.
As the fielders come back to take their positions. In the meantime, the Grenadians up to 89 for one, just 49 runs away.
45, in fact.
45 runs away. Some water to cool down the proceedings, Joel, from the water truck in the distance. Yeah, I could call that. Cayman 70 for 2 in 9.4 overs in reply to that 275 made by the St. Vincent and the Grenadines side. St. Vincent and the Grenadines perched, poised to be the only unbeaten team and the top of the standings at the end of the preliminaries. Unfortunately for them, that will count for nothing tomorrow when the semi-finals begin. Because as of tomorrow, it's either win or go home. So I think the opportunity taken to have the refreshment break, as the Antigua fielders in particular will be in need of a quenching, and as we see the water truck, as I said, just to add a bit of coolness, to cool the situation down. It has been a rather heated display by the Grenadian pier.
Heated display, but certainly not a hot day. It's been cool and wonderful conditions all day long here. There's the music going in the background and everybody enjoying all that's happening in what is going to be the final match of the round stage of this regional police cricket tournament. A few more trees being occupied to the left of us. I see a couple coolers as well.
Yes, and the conditions are fitting for a Good Friday. Normally a rather sober, a sober day in these parts. And I think I was told no mind-altering substances on sale today. No alcohol allowed. the ground. So that has also led to the air of sobriety.
Some will be sober and some will be somber.
And some will be sleepy, like some here to my right, and nodding off occasionally.
Well, something to wake you back up is going to be the action getting underway once again. The ball in the hand of Bernard.
I think we need to mention, though, the excellent work done by the officials, the statisticians, the scorers, Leslie, the match managers.
Well, it's gone again. It's going to find a friend.
Friend on a motorcycle, full delivery outside the all stump, down on one knee, timing it beautifully, lifting it high over extra cover. That's gone for another maximum. Yes, it is. And now Lawrence beginning to wind up. He is definitely in the action.
Stop, play, repeat for Lyndon Lawrence. He's had enough. He's been quiet for too long. And he says, I am here to enjoy the party as well. That takes Grenada up to 95 for 1. Just 39 runs now needed.
LaShawn Bernard not given a very good welcome, a rather fiery welcome by Lawrence. He's already been struck for a couple of sixes. He's only bowled some 4 deliveries. So an adjustment made, Captain Morillon giving up the gloves. Take his place in the outfield.
A lot better from Bernard there. The result and the delivery. One more to go and the 10th over.
I'm going to ask Leslie to give me a list of the names of the persons who she would like to.
We are witnessing an onslaught. Oh, that one was fired away. We're at the halfway stage. It's 99 for 1.
Another swashbuckling shot coming from the bat of Lyndon Lawrence. Straight back past the bowler. And that over costing some 18 runs. LaShawn Bernard, not a very pleasant welcome into the bowling attack. And at the halfway stage, 99 for 1. Grenada cruising now, in cruise control, you would have to say. So Leslie Prescott, Ayana Holder, Jackie Crick, Sanchia Barrow, Amelia Crick, Melissa S.K., Melissa King, and there was one other young lady, a young lady from St. Catherine, Serlene Clark. All these ladies are giving of excellent service in the area of scoring and other statistical matters.
Good take by the keeper.
Yeah, nice take.
But a no ball.
To think that he is the substitute keeper.
He's done a good work.
Brings up the 100.
His bowler has done us a disservice. That brings up the 100 for Grenada.
68 deliveries, 11 fours, 3 sixes.
Well, St. Hilaire, he's got himself a free hit.
It's at this point that the alarm goes off. Spectators are warned to look for flying missiles.
A result that we know all too well. Bang, 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 that's 6.
Talk about flying missiles. That one certainly flew out of here, though. None of the spectators at the ground were in any danger, actually, because that ball cleared the compound. St. Hilaire into the 40s now. The end is coming, and it's coming swiftly.
Just dropping it short and asking to be hit. It was a free hit, but it was not the best of deliveries as well. And that win factor, as long as it goes up, it will certainly sail away. 28 runs now needed for Grenada. More extras signaled by the umpire. That takes it now up to 26 extras in this innings. When you subtract that from 108, the math wasn't working too quickly for me.
Well, right now it's 26 to win, so multiply that 26 by, add 26 to 26. You get to 50, 52, the requirement.
And that might be more, or probably leg buys. We'll wait and see. And in fact, yes, another one added to the extras column.
Well, another 2, because they actually ran 1.
Not helping their cause here, Antigua and Barbuda.
So all attention will now shift to the Weymouth ground tomorrow, the all-important knockout round.
We're getting to that stage of the competition where mistakes could mean that you go back home, where heroes might be found, where smiles could be seen and tears as well, depending on which side of the coin you find yourself.
Smiles can turn to frowns also. Another wide delivery.
In fact, signal leg buys by the umpire. 13 runs so far in the 11th over. Tariq Mason has got figures of none for 16 from 1.3. Falls well short of long on. Looking at the runs required, you might probably tell yourself that Grenada should ease to victory, but Antigua and Barbuda will certainly want to at least take another wicket or 2 in this contest. Ensure that they still put up what many would see as a good fight. I mentioned the fact that looking at the results, they will probably tell themselves that they're better than some of the results that they've had in this tournament. Gotten good starts here, restricted teams there. I think back to that Barbados game yesterday when they had Barbados in a spot of bother, and I guess 1 or 2 decisions in the back end allowed Barbados to get away a drop catch at what would have been the inopportune moment also. It's just a case of having chances, having moments, but not really capitalizing on the entire game.
Youngsters like young Mason would have benefited from this experience. A number of young men in this Antigua side. And as I said, good young cricketers who would, there's a lot to be gained from this exposure.
11 gone, 116 for 1.
Just 18 runs to get now. And just, as I mentioned, in cruise control. And even now, the engines have been shut off, what you could almost say, as the Grenada side coming in for a smooth landing.
Certainly looks as if all out there have resigned to the result that we all expect at the moment.
So this is if the skipper is going to have a bowl. From that southern end.
Yes, indeed. Derek Murillan comes into the attack now.
Let's see what he would offer. He's got his deep mid-wicket, his long on, his long off. He's got a deep cover. He's got a deep extra cover. And he's also got a man at long leg. I think too many players outside the circle, Joel. If I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think you're only allowed 5. So no.
The man from deep mid-wicket now comes in. The skipper brings himself on when I guess you would say Antigua needs a bit of luck, a stroke of fortune. Can he turn the tide in their favor?
You're the king of the understatement, Joel, a bit. Starts with a delivery right on that off stump, right on target. Forces a defensive shot out of Lawrence. Lawrence, 3 4s and 3 massive 6s.
Slapped. Bang on to the paling. And a familiar sound, a familiar wave of the hand by the umpire. 4 more.
Hit hard. That one was crunched down the ground. Just standing and delivering there, Lawrence. So interesting to see if each of these batsmen will be able to get it to a half century with only 14 runs required. Let's see how they're going to do it. How they're going to manipulate the situation to allow for it. I think they're asking for a change of ball. I think
Lawrence
the
has damaged it.
Yeah, that last shot. I think someone should go and look at the sight screen too, because that too could be damaged, or could have been damaged. So once again, we have a pause in play. Long time ago, the wicket of Johan Jeremiah, bowled by Marcelin for 5. The only success gained by Antigua once they went to the field. 133 they made all out in, I think, 19.2 overs. Since then, it has been all Grenada.
It certainly has been the day of the Spice Isle. Things winding down here at Lears. The curtain slowly closing on this contest. Currently holding the ball. That Lyndon Lawrence damaged on the paling, and I must say, you have to consider this a state of emergency at this point.
Ripped to shreds. Really enjoyed the time here at Lears, though. Must give thanks to the officials of the Lears facility, the Cupid Cavaliers Club. Wayne Webster and his team, the groundsman, Mr. getting the name at the moment.
Brilliant work on the boundary, fantastic. And on a day that has not gone for Antigua and Barbuda, that is a bit of sunshine for them, a bit of light in the dark. Fantastic work, getting around quickly, putting his body on the line, and he's telling you that this contest is not over just yet.
Excellent commitment.
Oh, that one has a date with destiny, maybe. No, once again, good work. Never say die stuff by Antigua and Barbuda at the end. I must say, I like this. They've not resigned to the result. The end, though, of over number 12, 124 for one.
If they go about their policing the way that they have gone about, and with the commitment and the desperation that they have gone about this effort, then Antigua and Barbuda are in safe hands as a society.
I do believe we have a fine set of policemen and policewomen from all of the islands here in this regional police cricket tournament. 10 runs needed, 8 overs from which to get it.
Both batsmen in their 40s. Was a scenario outlined recently going around on WhatsApp. Joel, I'm sure you are aware of it. I think that is something similar going down here. Well, not necessarily because no limitation on the number of balls left. They've got as many balls as they will require, more balls than they require.
Malik Gerald has been brought back into the attack. He bowled 2 for 23 so far. 10 runs needed.
Popular term in Barbados these days, and no more turns. Definitely we are into the home stretch in this one.
Heading for home. Somewhat of a trot.
Finish line in sight.
Not a full gallop just yet.
Just at a canter.
It's gone for a date with the Angels. Add 6 more to that total, and with it, 50 for Nikosi Sid Halir.
Well, he has achieved the feat. That one asked to be hit. Nice, juicy full toss. And he just launched into it, hit it straight, as straight as he could. Neither the long off nor long on fielder had a chance. The ball cleared the rope anyway. And he brings up a famous of just 31 balls, 3 fours, and that was his second 6. 7 fours, in fact, and that was his second 6. So just 4 runs required now.
One hit away.
So Lawrence will not be able to get up to his 50 because he's on 43. And though he's on strike, I don't know how it can be, a scenario can conjure up for him to get it to 50.
It is possible with a single made and a single again and a 6.
It's possible, highly improbable. And that's the single that you talked about. Actually, another single here, and then the 6 could do the job.
2 runs needed for victory. And he sent him back. He says, no, Nikosi, I want to get to 50 here today. This is not up to you. This is not your show, says Lyndon Lawrence. They have come to see me, says Lyndon Lawrence, and I must raise my back to this crowd today.
Well, let's see what the fielding team has in mind. Well, I recall a situation at Kensington Oval during a CPL match where in a situation similar to this, But I'll just leave it at that. Those who remember will recall what I'm talking about.
I don't expect him to run on this delivery. Oh my days. And it ends with a boundary. So would you look at that? Lyndon Lawrence is disappointed, but Grenada are into the semi-finals of the Regional Police Cricket Tournament.
Well, a couple of boos going up in the crowd because there it was, a wide delivery down the leg side, negating any opportunity whatsoever of Lawrence getting up to a 50. Grenada have convincingly trounced Antigua and Barbuda by some 9 wickets. There are still 7 overs and 1 balls remaining when the target is achieved. 137 for 1 of 12 overs and 5 balls. Nikosi St. Hilaire on 54 and Lyndon Lawrence on 44, both not out. Johan Jeremiah, the batsman, dismissed for 5 and making very, very light work of the target, the Grenada team. We've got a special guest with us, and the captain of the Grenada side, and he'll be talking to Joel. So let's welcome Mr.
Campbell.
Campbell. Mr. Campbell.
Here on Campbell alongside me at the moment. How are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling great, getting into the semifinals, captaining the team for the first time and carrying my team through is a plus for me.
And what do you think went right for your side across this tournament?
I think the togetherness, we've been playing together, and this augurs well for our team, and this carry us through this tournament, and the camaraderie, as I said, it carried us, and we've been playing good.
All right, final question for you. If you guys were to go all the way to the final and win it, what would it mean to your team?
It will be a great feeling for the team. We've been in the finals a number of years and didn't get across the line. I think this year, we will certainly get past the line.
Well, you're certainly looking like it. All the best.
All right, thanks.
Well, there you have it. At the end of what has been a good Friday, would have to say here at Lears, a double-header, and it produced some quality action today. Antigua and Barbuda, they batted first and were bowled out for 133 in 19.3. And in replay, Grenada, they got up to the target. They got 137 for 1 in 12.5. Jeremiah, he went for 5. Lyndon Lawrence, not out on 44. A wonderful performance from him, but a little disappointing he didn't get over the line in terms of the 50. And Nikosi St. Hilaire, 54, not out in the end. In terms of the bowling figure as well, the only successful bowler for them in terms of wickets, well, that was Malik Marslin. The other as well, which is a case of runs for them. None for Gerald, Cornelius, Mason, Bernard, or Murillan.
Yes, as I mentioned to you before, Joel, all focus now on the semi-finals, which come off tomorrow at the Weymouth ground, the headquarters of Cricket for Police in Barbados, as we see the presence, we witness the presence, or notice the presence of the president of the Barbados Cricket Association, Conde Riley, right here in the middle of our screen. Good old Pasero making his way back in, so I think he would want to commend the police organization for a very, very well done job in coordinating this tournament. It has been something of an operations challenge, but I think you can so far say that the police have really come through the test and have done very well. Tomorrow, semi-finals time. I don't know if Liza can assist me as to the order of the semi-finals for tomorrow. No, I wasn't. So tomorrow, St. Vincent and Barbados at 10 o'clock, Joel. So you've got to get your seat early. I think they're going to be standing room only for that one. And then Grenada and the Trinidad and Tobago, Lendl Simmons and all for that second match. Oh, well, what an exciting prospect, whetting the appetite of us cricket lovers. And I can't wait to really see it happen. So Barbados and St. Vincent, Grenada and Trinidad and Tobago tomorrow at Weymouth with the with the Vincentians very much on the way to an easy victory in their final preliminary match. They come into the semi-finals unbeaten. Joel, are you one of these people who believe that each team is due for a bad match, and it is always best to get that bad match out of the way during the preliminaries and not wait until the playoff stage, the knockout stages?
Certainly not. As long as you're playing good cricket, well, good cricket produces results, and the results have gone in favour of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and they'll be hoping that the performances that they have put up can continue into the semi-finals and then into the finals. Obviously, teams will have it out for them in terms of looking for that revenge factor, and having seen them and seen how they go about it, teams are now able to plan a little better, strategize. So we're certainly in for what should be a spectacle come tomorrow at Weymouth.
And there's also the specter of fitness, players having gone through the whole week. Which team comes with which team in condition as far as putting a fit 11 onto the field of play? That is also going to be a factor. The bowlers would have done quite a lot of work, so you may get a couple of tiring shoulders. So it is not taken for granted that the best teams in the preliminaries will necessarily be the best at the knockout stages. However, we are speculating. We are going to look forward to that come tomorrow, and it has certainly been a fantastic time here at Lears throughout the matches played here, and I'm sure that I speak on the behalf of you, Joel. I speak on the behalf of Andrew Mason and Donovan Lovell, who would have also joined us with the number of very special guests that we would have entertained during the tournament. When I say thank you to the Cupid Cavaliers, thank you to the officials here at Lears, and of course a very well done job by the organizers. Tomorrow it is Weymouth. We will be there with you. Good evening.